Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into one of the biggest headaches in the tech world, the incredibly complicated maze of AI compliance. We're going to break down a whole new way of looking at this, one that promises to swap out all the guesswork for actual verifiable proof.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get a feel for this AI compliance maze. Then, we'll walk through a clear, three-step path to get through it. And to wrap things up, we're going to look at the secret sauce that makes it all click, what they call the deterministic difference.
So, let's set the scene here. If you're building or deploying AI right now, you know exactly what this feels like. It's like you're trying to find your way through a maze in the dark. You've got new rules and regulations popping up all over the place, security risks hiding around every corner, and this huge pressure to do everything responsibly. And that really boils down to this one single question. And look, this isn't just for the folks in the compliance department anymore. This is the kind of question that keeps developers, security teams, and yeah, even executives staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. Are you really ready to prove your AI systems are safe, secure, and compliant?
This is where a platform called Guesswork is trying to kind of flip the script. This tagline, AI compliance that speaks for itself, really gets to the heart of it. The idea is, instead of you scrambling to explain and justify everything, what if the proof was just built in? What if it was so clear that it could literally speak for itself? So how do they actually do that? Well, what's really cool is how they take that incredibly complex maze and just flatten it into a simple, clear path. It's a three-step journey, and it's designed to take you from total confusion to real confidence. And here they are, those 3 steps. It's just so logical, you know? First, you have to understand what rules and risks even apply to your specific situation. Then, you prepare your systems. You scan them, assess them, and close those gaps. And finally, the big one, you prove it. You share verifiable, audit-ready evidence. Understand, prepare, prove. Simple.
Okay, so let's dig into that a little bit, starting with that all-important first step. Understand. Before you can even think about building compliant systems, you have to get crystal clear on what you're actually on the hook for. And this is a pretty brilliant way to start. The platform has this free tool, the AI Law Finder. And get this, it takes that whole massive, confusing process of understanding regulations and boils it down to just 5 simple questions. That's it. 5 questions to get a personalized map of your regulatory world. Okay, so you know the rules of the game. Now it's time to get your house in order. Step 2, prepare, is all about getting into your actual code and systems and making sure they're up to snuff. This is where the theory stops and the real work begins. And I think this slide does a great job of showing how the platform is built for the whole team. It's not just for one group. On one side, you have tools for developers right in their workflow, things like an AI security scanner or LLM Verify to check large language models for vulnerabilities. Then, for the compliance teams, you've got a compliance wizard and evidence packs. It's all about bridging that gap between the code and the governance. And let's just zoom in on a real-world example here. The AI security scanner, it's not just looking for generic bugs. No, it's scanning for specific AI vulnerabilities, and then it maps them directly to the big deal standards that auditors are looking for, like SOC 2, which is a huge security framework, or the OWASP Top 10. And now for the final, and you could argue the most critical step. You've understood the risks, you've prepared your systems, but none of that matters if you can't prove it when an auditor comes knocking, right? This is all about getting the receipts. Now, the key thing to get here is that the output isn't just some flimsy report. It's what's called an evidence artifact. And each one is cryptographically signed with a SHA-256 hash. Think of it like a unique, unfakeable digital fingerprint. This makes it 100% verifiable, and it's already formatted for major audits like SOC 2 and ISO 27001. This is the kind of proof that actually holds up. So you might be thinking, what stops this from being just another tool with another opinion? Well, that gets us to the core technical advantage, what the platform calls the deterministic difference. This slide just lays out the difference so perfectly. You know, traditional audits can be really subjective. They often rely on an auditor's interpretation, their inference, and that just leads to a ton of guesswork. The HAIC approach, on the other hand, is deterministic. It's based on static analysis of the code itself, which means the results are verifiable and, this is huge, repeatable. So what does deterministic really mean here? It's actually super simple. It means if you put the same code in and you apply the same rules, you will get the exact same result every single time. And here's the kind of wild part. No AI inference is actually used to check the AI. It's all done with pattern matching and code analysis, which takes all that black box uncertainty right out of the equation.
Now, I really love this slide because it's all about transparency. They're not just making claims and asking you to believe them, they're showing you the evidence. They claim to be deterministic. Well, here's the proof. Pattern matching, verifiable. That's the SHA-256 hash we talked about. Open source, you can go on NPM right now and look at the code for some of the core tools. This level of transparency builds a massive amount of trust.
And really, that's the end goal of all of this. It's about empowerment. It's about giving your dev teams and your compliance teams the tools and, more importantly, the hard evidence they need to handle really complex audit-grade AI governance all by themselves, without all the stress and the guesswork.
So we'll end on this thought. As AI gets woven into pretty much every part of our lives, the systems making these huge decisions are only getting more complex. In a world that's going to be run by these powerful but often kind of opaque systems, what is the real value of having concrete, verifiable, deterministic proof? It's something we're all going to have to think about. Thanks so much for tuning in.